Good morning once again. You are watching Investment Academy, and our topic for today is fitness is my business. For our finance watch, for finance news, slide please. Banking, business, and finance news. Car and truck sales are up 42% in January to February. Philippine bond market is the second fastest growing in East Asia. The government is confident of exceeding mining and investment target. The index plunges on Europe debt woes, and that's actually why the stock market went down 6,500. But don't worry, it's going to pick up. The FDC, that's Philinvest Development Corporation profit breaches 4 billion mark. So the Petron income shrinks 2.3 billion in 2012. And for our stock market, Finance Watch, as of yesterday, the stock market was down 74.16 points, and the index was 6,536.18. It opened at 6,666.8. It went on a high of 6,690.28. It went on a low of 6,514.89. For our peso-dollar exchange rate, it opened at 40.680. It went on a high of 40.680. It went on a low of 40.720. And it averaged 40.705. So we are back again with our discussion about being fit this summer with the Baron method. Today with us is its Managing Director, Mr. Harvey De Baron. Okay, Harvey, so as we've talked about earlier, what is the typical diet or exercise, like a typical week for being in the Baron method?
Okay, generally actually majority of Filipinos, the irony is a lot of us don't actually eat enough.
Okay.
Okay, and when I say we don't eat enough, it means that the body is completely out of whack. Meaning, when I say out of whack, it just doesn't know where it's going to go. Because a lot of people, when you look at this scenario, as I explain it, if you think, okay, a lot of people are so weight conscious, that particular weight number conscious, they don't realize that when they go diet, not diet, then eating little, then eating more, eating little, they really put their metabolism in such a situation where the only thing constant is that the body is inconsistent. So what I immediately do with my method is I actually tell people, let's get that consistency that your body wants right away. The consistency I want for the body is making sure that the body is fed the entire day. It almost means that for me to say, okay, if you want to make sure that your metabolism is up, give it enough fuel so that the body can go into a situation where, okay, I'm comfortable with the way Ro is eating, I'm comfortable with the way Harvey is eating, that I'm going to let the body churn and let the body move, the metabolism move. So on a normal day, you're probably eating 6 to 7 meals a day, and then at no point in the day are you hungry. So your cravings disappear. Your evening craving for chocolate, that desire to have something sweet before you go to bed, that has to be eliminated. Because if you don't eliminate that, you cannot win the battle of trying to be getting into your target zone in terms of weight. Certainly, because at night, when you start craving, that craving portion happens, at that time, your body's not in control. Because if you had your way, you would not eat that piece of chocolate before you actually eat it. Well, while you're eating it, wow, it's yummy, but majority of the time, 90% of the people I work with, that when they eat that chocolate, an hour later, they feel like, I shouldn't have eaten that chocolate. I shouldn't have eaten that chocolate.
It's regret.
Regrets. And then the next day, they start the diet. They're restricting their food again, and it tends to get used to. And that's what your body doesn't like.
So in your diet, so you're not allowed to eat chocolates. You're not to have fun like chocolates, chips.
Yeah. No, actually, I allow a certain cheat day within a certain time. And why do I allow that? It's let's face it, in today's world, it's fairly unrealistic to say you can't have chocolates, you can't have popcorn, you can't have sweets, you can't have the things that like potato chips, burgers. It's unrealistic, okay? Because if you do that, again, it's not going to be sustainable. I guess the one thing that I do is that I tell people have this kind of a cheat day, because it will allow your body to refresh. It'll allow your body to regenerate itself, meaning to say, okay, when I say regenerate, it will allow your body to basically come back and say, hey, your calories are way up. It's a really great time for you to lose weight. It's what it's called leptin levels. When your leptin levels jump up up that high again, then it'll allow your body to basically, hey, I can lose weight better. That's why, if you remember, people who go on a diet at the start, they lose the weight quickest.
Yes, in 1 month,
you can
10,
lose
20 pounds.
Yeah, and that's because their leptin levels are high. But then if you keep dieting constantly, and you start up a diet again, all of a sudden that 10, 20 pounds is not 10, 20 pounds, it's like 3 or 4. Because your body's leptin levels are no longer as high as it used to be. So that's what happens. But basically, I do allow people to eat that, and I make sure when they eat it, they don't feel guilty.
Okay. So a typical day diet. So you have breakfast at about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
And then
a snack at 9:30 or 10 o'clock, then at lunch at 12, a snack again at 3 or 2:30 to 3, then a snack again at 5:30, then dinner at 7:30, 8. Then if you're going to have a late night, I actually tell you to have a snack before you go to bed.
Yeah.
But if you sleep, let's say at 10 o'clock, which I do, then I generally have my last meal at dinner.
Okay, so that's basically eating every 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what the body needs.
That's what the body wants. That's
Oh,
what the body wants, for sure. Yeah.
And what about the exercise? You said that the diet, the program. You don't call it a diet. You call it like a lifestyle.
That's why I called it the Barron method, because it's a completely. I don't want it to be like part of a lifestyle type thing. It's really a way. It's almost become a way of life. Really, if you want, like for me, it's been 15 years that I've been in this way. That I've looked the same for the last.
Before you were at.
Before I was 230 pounds.
And now you are?
I am sitting now at 100, as of this morning, 178, 175.
Okay, wow.
So I sit in that range the entire time. Yeah, and that's really important for me to be.
And you mentioned earlier that when you got sick, it's because that you were then 230 pounds.
Yeah, 230, living off the diet of processed food. I really enjoy my KFC. That is my ultimate. Oh, sorry, am I allowed to say that? But that's really my ultimate weakness. And I love my potato chips. I love my things. So on cheat days, I generally eat those things. And of course, I love my ice creams. Who doesn't, right? I mean,
what about sugar?
I absolutely love it. That's why I have it on my cheat day. But
on a regular diet of the Barron method,
you can have sugar. It's just that again, it's all about choosing the right quality of sugars. When we talk about sugars, a lot of people don't realize that when they look at the nutritional value guide and they say, okay, it's 150 calories. My body can take 150 calories, but they don't realize the conversion, the speed at which that calorie converts into fat.
Okay.
You don't want calories that convert into fat so quickly, and a lot of people won't realize this. But if you think about it, you would probably eat brown rice as opposed to white rice if you had that healthy mindset, and that's ingrained in quite a lot of people. But a lot of people don't realize that brown rice has actually more calories than white rice per cup, by at least 10%. So why eat the brown rice as opposed to the white rice? Well, the brown rice converts into fat so much slower than the white rice.
Because of the process of the way.
Because of the way the food has been processed, and because of the way the food is. So that's the property. So when you talk about sugars, I would generally talk about using sugars that are slow to convert. So what would those sugars be? I would generally use raw honey, muscovado sugar, which is okay. Another one I would use is stevia, cocoa sugar. There are really a lot of.
What about Splenda?
I'm not.
Everybody. That's very popular. They say Splenda's got better than.
Yeah, Splenda is 0 calories,
Yeah.
right? But I have several issues with Splenda. My issue with Splenda in particular is probably that it does not take away the person's sweet tooth. because at a certain point you have to train your body. Like if there is no Splenda, what do you revert to? So we have to train the body to basically say, okay, I'm not going to eat, or I'm not going to take in Splenda. Plus also the health issues that because it is an unnatural sweetener.
Yeah.
It's not your usual, like it comes from a plant, or it comes from coconuts, or it comes from that. That's why I don't like Splenda. It's unnatural. It's definitely processed.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't like it. I don't like how it affects the body per se.
Okay, so we talked about the diet, or like the kind of food that this is good for us. What about how different is it being enrolled in a gym?
Okay, I always say that this is just my opinion, and I think, and to a certain extent, my clientele and the people I work with generally exhibit this particular statement. Losing weight is more often about eating right than exercising a heck of a lot. Because if you look, there are so many people who play badminton or do sports, but not everybody is fit looking, right?
Yeah.
What the world defines as fit, no? And the reason for that is that basically, if you want to exercise, you can basically if you want to get started, it's almost as simple as just walking 30 to 40 minutes a day. You can get started on that based on what you're eating right now, and that would actually make a significant increase, assuming everything is equal. Assuming you don't add any more with what you eat and you maintain that diet. You go out for a walk today, 30 to 40 minutes a day, you will lose weight.
Just by walking?
Just by walking.
Okay.
Then, if you want to increase your level of activity, you also have to increase the level of your intake. You cannot expect to increase the level of your activity and train for an Ironman, eat the same way, and then at a certain point, yes, you've lost 20, 30 pounds, but then you're going to say, how come I'm not losing any more? I'm doing much more. Because your body needs a certain amount, a minimum level of calories for your body to be able to function well.
So, but sometimes, for a busy person, they can't really work out like 30, 40 every day. So,
Right.
what is the minimum?
I would say that the basic minimum is between 20 to 30 minutes. And it's not even you go to a gym or anything like that. You can basically go to a mall and walk 30 minutes. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
but
sure
don't buy
women
anything.
just make sure just make sure you're not having a popcorn on one side and an ice cream on the other side, then you're okay. But generally, if you walk in a mall, like I know my wife cannot run a marathon, but she can shop for 8 hours a day. That's not a problem for her. She can literally carry bags and shop whatever and those things. So my thing is, if you're doing some type of level of activity like that, it's not going to be a problem for you. So if your basic problem is the gym's too expensive, the gym is this, the gym is that, it's too much money and too much time to park, to do all these things, then go to a mall, walk all the floors, one round, then go back to your car, go home. It can be as basic as that to start with. And as long as you build, it's all about, again, building the habit of being able to say, hey, I'm going to do something as opposed to not do anything. But certainly, a level of activity is called for this.
At least, but you said every day, but if you can't work out every, like 3 or 4 times is good?
Yeah, 3 or 4 times a week is good. Generally, you just want to build up that level of activity. Again, I'm not discouraging people to go to the gym because I definitely work out in the gym. I like the way my body looks after I exercise. I love the way I feel after you exercise. You feel strong. You feel strong when people tell you, hey, can you do push-ups? It's challenging. It allows your body to not to just stay in a lull, because a lot of people don't know this, but certainly as you get older, you want to develop muscle. Because at every decade of your life, starting the age of 30, your muscle deteriorates by 20% every single decade.
Yeah.
So if you have 100 pounds of muscle at age 30, by the time you're 40, your poundage of muscles, assuming you don't do a single thing except your usual day-to-day, you could have lost 20% of that 100 pounds of muscle in a decade. And add another decade in your 50s, then you have that. And that's why you see adults, their bodies, as they get older into their 60s and 70s, the bodies are like this. It's simply because of lack of exercise or bone deterioration and, of course, muscle not being there.
Okay, so, well, That's actually very good. So if you'd like to ask questions, also call 0917-862-7576. And before we end our show,
Okay.
any message for our viewers, and of course, also your contact details that they might want to get in touch with you.
Yeah. It's fairly easy. I am on my phone number is 0917-824-8357. You can just call me directly, or you can email me at baronmethod, BARONMETHOD, tama ba? Yeah, at gmail.com. But I also have a Facebook. You can
Yeah,
also follow me
Facebook.
on Facebook or Twitter. So I am on that. And
Okay.
so that it's as
And
simple as
any
that.
message also for our viewers now that it's summer and fitness and all that? Yeah. Short message.
Just a few tips, like three, if I may. Stay off processed food and simple sugars. That's one. Second of all, if your quality is good, your quantity should never ever matter. And thirdly, just keep moving. That's it.
Okay. So thank you very much, Harvey, for being here in the show today.
Thank you.
And I hope that we can also invite you again one of these days. Maybe before Christmas, before the
Oh, yeah.
binge of Christmas. No?
Yeah,
Okay, anyway, so we need to manage our wealth wisely. Calculate every move towards spending your money. You have to respect the wealth. You have to respect the wealth that you have made for you and your family. Honor God and thank Him for the talent and the wisdom He gave us that brought us where we are today. Again, I will leave you with the magic 3. With luck comes preparedness. Make your money work harder for you and build wealth for your peace of mind. Lastly, thank you to my sponsors, Frank Provost Studio at the Fort and Flawless, located all over Metro Manila and in the provinces. See you next week, same time, same channel, as we continue learning about the different business and investment opportunities. Maraming salamat po at magandang umaga sa inyong lahat.